One more drink, one more drink. You know in the morning for sure we gon' stink. One more round, one more round. It's 5 a.m., you pricks, the barkeep frowned. This is what we do, catch up for a few. We'll riff and talk some shit and then we'll sleep till 2. Talk some shit and then we'll sleep till 2.
Let's fucking dance.
Hell yeah, we're dancing, baby. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody. Who is that?
Oh shit.
Sam Cooke?
No. Oh god, are we really we already have the rep as the worst fucking music guys in this podcast?
I know. It's old. It's an oldie. I
King
used to
Harvest.
love that song. Who?
King Harvest.
Oh, I would have never gotten that.
Isn't that right? Dancing in the moonlight. I just looked it up. That's what it said.
Oh, all right. I've never even heard of King Harvest. Jeez.
Fuck, I thought it was like it's not the Zombies, but it felt like a Zombies type of band.
Right.
Now it didn't. I'm a fucking idiot. I've already been drinking.
I started with a song. It was my fault. We're not a music podcast.
Hey, we're not a music podcast. Look what I'm doing, Mark.
Woo! Wee! Dainty lady over here.
Hey, Martini. It's not. I feel like Sterling and Mad Men here. Come on.
True. That cup with the tiny neck on that
rough.
thing. It's tough.
It's like you feel like either like a cool chick or a prospector or some shit. You know, like.
Right. You look like the Monopoly man over there. But you got the olives and the toothpick. Killer.
You think this is a game, dude? I'm taking this podcast seriously. These are Blue Chief stuffed olives, and
Whoa.
I'm rocking a vodka martini. This is a drinking pod. We haven't really done a martini yet, so I said let's fucking dance, my friend.
Yeah, do it up. I mean, martini, one of my favorite drinks of all time. I love it. Dirty, filthy, salty, shoot in my face. So yeah, that I'm jealous.
I like a martini because they get you fucked up real fast.
Yes, it's cool because it's this classy drink, but it gets you hammered.
It's 3-ounce vodka, 1 ounce dry vermouth. That you just drinking that, you're like, that's all. They're like, that's a lady drink. You're drinking a screwdriver, motherfucker.
Good point. You got
You're
sugary
juicing.
Fruit juice in there. Yeah, I'm going just a tad of olive liquid. Fuck you and vermouth.
You can tell a professional alcoholic, like one of my friends does this move. He just drinks, he'll pour vodka like all the way up to the top and then just like shoot on a little club soda. That's an alcoholic's drink.
Yeah, that's kind of a smooth move. And just to cut it a little bit, I love that because now he can say he's having a cocktail. Otherwise, he's just drinking straight hooch.
Hooch.
I'm rocking. I'm in Kentucky right now, Lexington, not bragging. And
great city,
great town, great club. Just did a show tonight. A lot of love for the pod, by the way. A lot of people came out. We might be drunk. Woo! Pet peeves. And so I said, give me a local brewery. What do you got? And they gave me a bourbon beer. So
I was going to say, you got to be drinking bourbon in Kentucky.
Yeah, so this is the best of both worlds. It's a beer made in the bourbon cask or barrel or whatever you call it. And
I love that, dude.
8%. It's good shit. It's my third one tonight. They let me take a cup home.
8%. Great beer. Terrible cell phone battery. One of the finest. Hey, man, I love Kentucky. I've been to the racetrack there in Lexington, Keens racetrack. I've done you got to hit a distillery there, man. They've got those. I think they do makers there. Everything's Kentucky bourbon. I mean, that's bourbon.
I know. It's bourbon, it's horses, it's toothless. I'm loving it here, but it's tough because you want to hit the distillery, you want to get some bourbon and some beer, but then you just get shithoused at noon, and then you got 2 shows.
You don't want to do 2 shows after the Maker's Mark tour. You're fucking...
Oh, exactly. Yeah, good
Brutal.
name for my summer tour, by the way. But yeah,
remember we tried to do a bourbon tour years ago, remember?
No,
I was trying to put that together. You don't remember? I was like, I should find a name. I thought that was cool because years ago, like Bert and Pete Corielli and all those guys did the Jameson Irish whiskey tour. I was like, we get paid extra. We promote your booze. We drink it. It's a win-win.
I love it. I'm down. But I think we could probably do that now, I bet.
That would be fucking, dude. A little cross promo for this pod. That would be fun.
That would be great. And we
It'd be
get some
dangerous.
crazy danger, but you get some stories out of it. You get a couple of booze bag comics who we like and we'll drink with, because it's slim pickings with all the sobriety out there.
That's the thing. Is like all these comedians are sober now because they drank too much.
Exactly. They blew their livers out, like, 5 years ago.
Yeah. Fuck.
That's why you got to hand it to the Stanhopes and the the Burt Kreischers, just hanging in there with the. It's almost like alcohol is keeping them alive at this point. Like if they stop, they die.
It's kind of like Holyfield. You're like, they went on way too long, but at the same time, like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Burt, Holyfield, they speak a little more slowly now.
Right.
There's been some brain damage.
I know. And we're going to be talking about these guys like in 20 years, like, oh, sure, they're dead now, but man, those guys lived.
There was something cool about like the old badass drunk writers.
Oh yeah, very romantic. The Hemingways.
Yeah. I love Attell's joke. All the great writers were drunks. Hemingway, Judy Blume.
Yeah, he was one of the great drunks too, Attell.
He's still one of the great drunks. He's just sober.
Yeah, I feel like every bar I go to, they go, "What do you do?" I'm a comic. Oh, we had Attell in here 10 years ago. He brought a chicken with him. He beat up a guy at a pool with a pool cue and whatever.
Every road story from like the early 2000s and before on the road for comedy, it just sounds like you were in the movie Roadhouse.
I know,
like,
right?
What happened?
I think the cell phone camera changed it all. Like, we're not going to get into a fist fight because I work at a bank. I'll get fired, or I'm making out with a fat chick. My wife will see it. So the bar was where you went to really get loose, and now it's all on tape.
Well, it's not just that. You can't get into a fight on the road anymore because everyone knows MMA.
That's true as well.
Back in the day, you could like throw a punch at a guy and get away with it. Now he's gonna like catch it, throw it into a reverse arm bar. You have a broken jaw, he throws you to the ground. You're like, that was all because I had one too many drinks,
So true. I remember I danced with a girl at a bar in college, and I was dancing, and she goes, "Uh-oh," and I got a punch in the back of the head. I just went straight down. And the guy was like, "Don't dance with my girl." I was like, "I didn't know it was your girl. I mean, talk to her. She's the one dancing with me. Why am I the bad guy?" But you can't hit her, not in public. So I got a nice wallop.
I'll give this to you, Mark. This glass is a little fucking dainty. It is a little like, you know what I hate about the Martini glass? It's like, it was not made for drunks. Like this shit, look at this shit. It wobbles.
Exactly.
You're nervous. It's like a waiter with too much shit on a tray, but it's in your glass.
Right. It's almost impressive if you don't spill it. Like, that's how good of an alcoholic you are. You got this tiny little glass that's so spillable, and you still don't.
Well, this glass, I got it online. It's Duke's Bar, apparently a famous bar in London, and it's a big ass glass. So I think it only is supposed to go up to like here. So I think that's the point. But then I kind of like an overflowing glass. There's some fun to it.
Oh, that's the best. Yeah, it starts dripping on your fingers like an ice cream cone. But I like it. Give me a rocks glass martini, because you get all the love of the martini without the anxiety.
That's fair. Yeah, drinking, man. So how was your show good at Comedy Off Broadway?
Great show. I had the weird couple in the front row that was just mean mugging me the whole time, and I was like, everybody's laughing, but why are you in the front? Go sit in the back and sulk. But eventually I caught the guy filming me, and then I yelled at him, and then he got mad at me. And it's one of those weird things. I'm like, why am I the bad guy? You're filming.
This is I just did a show in Brooklyn, and it's like, it's one of those weird Brooklyn shows. This happens in Brooklyn a lot, I've found, where they're like, they give you no energy to the point that it's like, it's awkward, where I'm like,
yes.
So, I'm not like a screamer. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give you a ton. So if you're giving me nothing, I'm going to have to riff on that. And it was work. It took a while. I did that thing I do when I can't come up with, I kind of did all my new shit. And then I was like, all right, give me topics. Let me just, and you kind of get them back by just showing you can riff a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
that's cool.
And some of them bomb, but at least I can kind of like turn it into crowd work. And then kind of, because I either do crowd work when I'm so sick of my act or when I have nothing.
Yeah, same.
So I'm just setting up to try to like riff a bit here and there. If I can get a good topical bit, maybe there's something there. But man, Brooklyn gives you nothing. Like
Nothing.
they're like a crowd in Brooklyn where it's like they're there to see a magician, but they know all the tricks.
Oh, that's
You know what I
perfect.
mean?
So true. And they don't want to get got because they think they're these artsy fartsy smarty pants. So they don't want your punchline or your turn to go, because it's too vulnerable for them to let loose like that.
You're right. It's also like I'm there with my friend Dina Hashem, who went on before me, and she's got great jokes. And we were talking about it afterwards, and I said, I kind of like when they're bad because sometimes you get crowds that are a little too good with these new jokes, and you're like, yeah, they're not this good yet.
Right.
And the road will make you feel real good about your new shit, and you need to be humbled a little bit. Like these crowds will put you flat on your ass a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't mind a little ass flattening, but it just keep it real with me. Like, don't give me too much and don't give me too little, because there's such a thing as too little too. So like, I know you guys are too cool for school, but like, give me a smirk.
It feels like a date where you're not going to get laid, but you're like, I'm gonna keep fighting and to at least make this a good date.
Right. Right.
I don't want you to fucking. It's one of those things where I know the jokes aren't that good yet, but I know they're not that bad yet. And you're right. There is something about a crowd that gives you nothing. But there is also, if it's every once in a while, man, that fight will make you rip a new line. Like, how many bits do you have where the tag is shit, and then you come up with a new tag on, like you have a new ending of the bit because you had to rip it because the first two punchlines didn't hit.
Yes, it's so true. And then at the end, like in the middle of it, you're sweating, you're frazzled, but at the end, you're like, I'm kind of glad I got that shit crowd because I got a new line out of it. It pulled something out of me that wouldn't have been pulled out if they were good.
I had a couple new bits that hit the last two nights that got I hate when you have that new joke energy and you're walking around with your chest out. Like, I got a few new ones, and then they just give you.
I know, because you're still vulnerable with that bit. It's still new and fresh. So you're like, is it bad? Is it good? Now I have no idea. It's funny how comedy, it's all
not
data.
as bad. It's not as bad as the worst crowd. It's not as good as the best. But like, man, Brooklyn humbles me, man. It is. You ever starting out when you're doing open mics and you would do a comedy open mic and the comics give you nothing, and then you just go to a music open mic and you kill.
Yes.
Because to them, you're special.
Right, exactly. They don't see the tricks and the turns. It's like you said with the magician. But my thing with Brooklyn is they think they're so worldly and cultured. But I'm like, if you guys were in charge of art, we'd be fucked. Because I'm throwing something at you here, and maybe because it's going this way too much or going that way too much, or it's too jokey, they just shut off. And I'm like, okay, but you guys are giving me feedback, and if I just listen to you, I'd have no act.
Yeah, not everything can be David Lynch. Not everything can be Twin Peaks, motherfuckers.
Exactly.
There's got to be some, and like that's the weird thing is that with jokes, we almost like focus group it a little bit.
Yeah,
people don't talk about it. Well, we're taking these on the road. We're literally taking them everywhere to make sure they work. And then Brooklyn is like almost the snooty, where they're like, wow us.
Right.
They have that energy dazzle us. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm not on America's Got Talent here. I know. This is a show you paid to come to see.
Yes, we're in the backyard of a vegan restaurant. Why are you judging me? You got blue hair and the side of your head is shaved and you got a Snoopy tattoo and I'm the bad guy? You showed up.
Just because you look like Scary Spice doesn't mean we're on your reality show here, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
No, we get fucking hammered by him, man. It's crazy, but I got a lot of road dates coming up, and it's been a minute for me, so I'm excited to really go hard. And but I miss it so much. Like I just think like New York, man. It's not good for your comedy to be in one place.
Yeah.
In terms of the building, it's also not good for your brain to be in one place.
Completely agree. You got to
ramblers.
We're ramblers. You got to have routine. You got to have variety. I mean, even the walk from my apartment to the subway, I've done it 8 million times. I want to kill myself. I start going the other way. I go backwards. I do a new train just because I got to mix it up. And Ryan Hamilton told me, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but he opens for Seinfeld on the road and they get in that jet and Seinfeld buckles the seatbelt and he goes, vacation. Which is so great because he's like, he's got 3 kids. He's got a wife at home. And that is work. And the comedy is the fun part.
That is the crazy part to me, is that so many people hate their jobs and that we're just like, I love every minute of this. I really, even the bad shit, it makes me feel good in a way because, man, there's this great quote, and I might have said this in the podcast. There's the one drawback to a drinking podcast. We might repeat ourselves,
Yeah.
but
we all know that drunk who tells the same story every time too.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. You ever do someone's podcast and they do that? Like sometimes I'll do podcasts. I'm like, I've heard this on your podcast. Not even like you're retelling a story, not like to me at a restaurant, but this is on a live show. Yeah,
completely. And then you just have to decide, do I go with it or do I cut the guy off and embarrass him?
Yeah, it's tough. Drinking will fuck your head up a little bit. It's funny, all the philosophers, like I was reading this book about like it's a history of the world through 6 glasses is basically the premise of it, like how every period of time has been defined by a drink, whether it be like a soda, tea, coffee, alcohol, like, beer, wine, whatever. But the thinkers, a lot of the time they drink tea or coffee. They do stuff that stimulates your minds.
Right.
Whereas like, the fuck ups, the people that build shit, they're the drunks.
Yes.
We're supposed to be thinkers, but we have the drunken mentality. We're supposed to be making observations and telling jokes, but this is the shit that kills our brain.
Well, that's a great point because comedy is blue collar and intellectual at the same time. You're out on the road, You're flying out, you're on the road every weekend, you're schlepping, you're in a suitcase, you're in a hotel, you're trying to get drunk after, you're trying to get the hotel breakfast, you're doing radio. It's a very blue collar gig. We're travelers, we're rambling men or women, but it's true. Yeah. So it's this weird, sophisticated, intellectual thought thing with shit-faced, humble lifestyle, not a lot of money. So yeah, it's a fun combo.
Well, that's an interesting point because we are literally doing what we do to move drinks. Like that's how we get paid what we do, because we're moving alcohol, right? And we're in these bars where they're serving fried food, and we're like, we worked all day on this premise. Let me work out this premise. They're literally stuffing their face with like fried food, and we're like, I got to try out my joke. Like, let me tell you how I feel about life. And they're just like, just fucking. Some people are there for the show, and then some people are like, I just want something to do, man.
I know. I'm trying to get my wife out of the house and do something and have a cocktail. And you're talking about your anxiety? Blow me. I'm a steel mill guy.
Anxiety. Although it's getting cooler to talk about that shit. I feel like we've talked about this before, but just the idea of like the old man, like the Humphrey Bogart type guy,
right,
who just drank away his pain. That was manly though, and now it's not. Now it's almost more manly to be in therapy and to be like, yeah, I'm aware of my shit.
Right. Yeah, I think there's some merits to both. I like the guy who, like, you meet these guys salt of the earth. They their back hurts, their feet hurt, they're hungover, and they just rally. They just go back out. Oh, we're going out tonight. All right, fuck it, let's go. There's something to that guy.
That's a man, the guy who keeps drinking to you.
Yes, I love that guy. The guy who can rally.
It's funny because I do relate to that. Like, I do see like a guy who's like, you see a guy with like a family and kids. He's like playing with his kid. I'm like, look at this fucking pussy right here. And then you walk a few blocks down, you see a guy who's like in the gutter with a bottle of moonshine. You're like, this motherfucker's a man. This is what a man is.
But at least therapy, it's like you and this other guy or gal in a room and you're paying him and you get it all out. You're not putting it on other people, like your friends or your girlfriend or your wife or whatever. You're knocking it out with this guy or gal, and then you go home and be about your day. I think that's kind of nice too.
How much do you think therapy has helped you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, even if you don't go every week or whatever, you just get the tools, you learn. And then you go, I can apply that. And then you got to figure out, because everybody thinks they're hot shit. Everybody's entitled. You got to find out what's not hot shit about you and work on it.
Don't you think some people go to therapy though, and just all they do is be like, this guy did this to me. And then this, like, I think some people go and just get enabled and get worse. I think some people get better if they have humility and they work on their shit. But I do think there's a type of person that therapy doesn't help.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I think our guy tells it like it is. And I think that's what you need. He kind of gives you the business.
Our guy is super smart, and it's funny. Our guy is like, it's really like seeing our therapist felt like getting passed at a comedy club. You get like your recommendation, you kind of you kind of audition, you text, you're like, I'm fucked up. He's like, all right, you can come in, you know? And I mean, I think it helps, but I also think, you know, our guy is a confrontational method, and that works. But it doesn't work on everyone. Like, I brought ex-girlfriends there. I brought my mom there. Like, It doesn't. Yeah, dude. It also sucks when you see a therapist that a lot of comedians see, and you leave with your mom. I'm like, shit, is like Giannis Papa is going to see me walk out with my mom. This is embarrassing.
Right,
you know?
right. You're doing a two-man act now, Sam? What's going on here? It feels like you're coming off stage. Like, that went well, or I bombed in there.
Oh, dude, I remember I heard a comedian we know get a laugh in the session, and you're like, a part of you, it fucks up. You're like, I guess I can't, like, I guess I got to like bring the heat now. I can't just fucking, you know,
totally
air my shit.
Yeah, you can't be a sad sack in there. You gotta be entertaining, and it's the comic in it. I have it when I'm going down on the girlfriend. You're like, am I doing well? The comedy thing goes into every aspect of life.
Am I doing well?
Yeah, I need a moan. I need a coming. I need a reaction.
Yeah. Am I doing well?
Yeah.
You guys having fun? Tell your face. Yeah, you treat it like a fucking set.
Yeah, tip your waiter or whatever it is. I'm here next week. Tell a friend. Yeah, it's everything we do. We need that validation. We need that reaction. We need to know we're doing well.
That's a good point. Yeah, even in therapy, I'm like a little more enthusiasm, please. I'm you know, I'm not like trying to get I'm trying to get some reaction. I'm not trying to like kill in therapy, but I am trying to get, there is something about, especially like the way, like, we are such club comics.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that where we're so uncomfortable with silence. Like, there's like alt guys, there's storytellers, there's people that will just kind of milk the silence in the room and embrace it. And I think we're people that want laughs, like bam, bam, bam.
Yes.
So even in therapy, when shit gets dark, don't you find yourself trying to break the tension and make a fucked up joke?
Of course. And that joke gets nothing because he's a professional. And so then you're just going to the spiral of like insecurity.
You go into crowd work. You're like, so anyway,
what is that? A lamp?
What is that?
Nice.
What do you got there?
IKEA?
Yeah, you're on Zoom. Sometimes I'll be on Zoom therapy with him, and his wife is also a therapist, and I'll just hear her in the other room. Do you ever do that?
No, I've never done the Zoom. I can't do it.
Oh, you've never done it?
No, it's too weird for me.
Do you do phone, or you're not doing it right now?
I haven't done it since the pandemic, which maybe is not healthy.
Yeah. No, I go for like a tune-up. I go like, I don't feel like I need to go every week, but like sometimes I'll have a week where I'll be like, I think I need therapy.
Yeah, I get that. Do you get a discount on Zoom? It feels like less of a session.
No, same deal as in person. Yeah.
It's like a personal trainer. If he's like, hey, do a burpee. I'm like, if you're not here, it's not the same.
This pandemic's taking a toll on everybody, I guess. I mean, yeah, although I feel like some of these gigs I get paid more on Zoom.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
But it's a worse show.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, but it is funny when they're like, what's your rate? And you're just like, let me throw this shit out there and see what happens.
Yeah, I kind of feel guilty. I just tossed it to the agent. I'm like, I feel bad trying to highball someone, but it's like, it's funny. The agent will just throw them an absurd amount of money. So if it's a gig I don't want to do, then either they'll pay the absurd amount of money or it just goes away.
Right. Yeah, we had the same agent for a while, and she was a shark. Killer agent, like got the money up, got the good gigs. But every time I showed up at the club, they're like, hey, good to see you. But Jesus Christ, tell your agent to cool it, will you? She's parking down my neck here. I'm like, oh, sorry.
She was a shark. What you want. I liked it. Yeah, you don't want them to like you don't want people to like your agent.
Right. They'll like us and hate the agent. That's fair.
You know who they love is the person that they're paying jack shit to.
Yes.
Hey, that guy Tony's a great guy.
That used to be us. Remember, we used to make shit on the road.
I know. Ugh.
You did it
I
for the
remember
love of the game.
we had the same agent before that too. They were fucking dog shit.
Oh yeah. Now, how did you fire them? Because mine was not pretty.
Oh really? They didn't fight that hard for me.
Well, he didn't fight hard. He just got angry.
Yeah, I think they were like, I haven't had a manager in years, but I remember at the time I had a manager and he fired them, and they were like, did we do something wrong? Meanwhile, literally every week I was like, hey, you guys are getting me horrible gigs for horrible money. And they're like, well, that's what you're worth. That was like the comeback. I'm like, what am I? What am I, Adriana on The Sopranos? You're just going to treat me like shit? And I'm going to stick. Yeah. And the answer is yes. I stuck around for a while because I had no other options. But I mean, no, they said the rudest shit to me to the point that I was like, why am I taking this? I'm out of here.
But I mean, I just remember getting the first call from a manager or an agent like, we'd like to represent you. I was like, ah! It was like some guy in a Hawaiian shirt in the back of a wheat thins factory. He's like, hey, well, we want to wreck you. And I was like, oh my God, I'll take it. But then you slowly realize that this guy's an idiot or he's ripping you off or whatever.
Dude, I remember your first manager just got you fucked up, and that's all that mattered. I mean,
yes.
I had a first manager too that like she rep my buddy Barrington Day Thurston, who was like my good friend. I don't know if you remember him. He used to host my weekly show.
Oh yeah, great guy.
Wrote a great book called How to Be Black. He's like one of the best guys. He's popping up everywhere on, like, he was on Bill Maher a few weeks ago. He was on, he's on CNN all the time. Shit, he's great. He's just a great dude too. But she repped him, so I was like, oh, she's legit. But she wasn't like a comedy agent, but she was repping me. And I remember the first thing she was like, I was like, yeah, get me on a late night show. That's what I want, is late night. We were so hungry for that. And she was like, all right, just get me the names of all the bookers. And I was like, I didn't realize that was insane at the time.
Right,
that, like any real manager is like, oh yeah, I'll email them right now. But like she was like, find me all the names. Like she was gonna cold email them.
You're doing all the work. You can email them.
Dude, this is something I was talking to Dina about tonight, is like how every manager should just be a social media expert now. Like, why are we paying for people to why are we paying? Like, you should just run my TikTok. That should be your job.
Good point.
If you're getting 10%, like they don't do, otherwise they just call you and they're like, so what are you working on? You tell them, they're like, sounds good. I'm like, I don't need a fucking coach.
Right. And then they make you feel bad. They're like, you got any scripts? You're like, well, nothing new. They're like, oh, nothing new. You're like, you want me to write a feature film in 2 weeks? Like, what are you thinking? You got any show ideas?
Dude,
how's this?
I
don't know if that'll sell.
How many agents?
Give me that.
How many agents have given you shit about like your output of material, where they're like, you don't have any new stuff for this? How many times? Because it's happened to me, and I'm like, who's writing more than you, Mark? Like, who the fuck is writing more jokes than you?
I know. Yeah, they're just sitting there by a phone waiting for us to produce some shit. Like, you get some stuff cooking. How about that?
Agents I get. Agents serve a purpose. I see a direct result. I don't understand the job. The manager seems like a made up thing. I remember on Entourage, the whole thing was like the manager, because it was his best friend from childhood, and they were like, and there was an episode with like, what's the difference between a manager and an agent? And Eric was like, we're the ones who care, the managers. I'm like, that might be true if you grew up in Queens next to them. If it's a stranger, they don't care and they do nothing.
Right. I think they're a dying thing. I think it's fizzling out, like the VCR and the sewing wheel or whatever. But I think the manager, all they do is organize. Oh, you're a dumb comic. You're an idiot. You can't type. You can't pick up a phone. So we'll get the hotel. We'll book the flight. I assume. That's all they do. They manage. They
would send a lot of advances. They'd be like, here's your schedule for the upcoming week. And I'd be like, cool. Turns out the club I'm playing sends the exact same thing. Yours was better formatted.
Right, exactly. Thanks for the itinerary.
Made up jobs. I mean, those are going to go away. The middlemen are going to keep being cut out because they don't do anything.
I think you're right. And I think you got some of that social media. Give me like a 21-year-old Asian kid and let him do the TikTok, the social media, the Facebook. promotion. Like what are those Facebook things where they just shoot out a spread and it goes to all these different geo cities or tracking or whatever it is? That's the future.
That's the future. Yeah, I don't want it's almost like they've been trained. The interesting thing about managers is like it's like they've been trained in how to do nothing. So they're good at selling you on nothing.
Right.
It's like a salesman who's just like like, so where are you? And you're like, well, I think you're great. That's what they do. They flatter you, and we're so insecure that that's currency to us. Right. They're like, Mark Normand, like, Mark, this is me being a manager. Mark, you're one of the best joke writers in New York City. You've got the goods, man. You got a great podcast, Tuesdays with Stories. You got We Might Be Drunk. That's another podcast on the come up. You've done every late night show. You should have a sitcom. Don't you think you should have a sitcom?
I'd like a sitcom, sure.
Well, let's work together, and I'll help you get a sitcom.
You're right. I'll get on it. I'll write the script. I'll come up with the idea. I'll pitch it. Great.
And I'll take 10%, and I'll be an executive producer on it, and I'll get residuals for that. And I'll check in on you once every 2 weeks, and I'll screen a lot of your texts and phone calls. Handshake?
I'm in.
But here's the funny thing is like, we don't ask, like, how are you going to do that? They just say, we're going to do that. And then they don't do it.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say this, but my manager texted me the other day and he goes, you want to sell a sitcom, right? I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, write me 10 things that you think are interesting and 10 things you'd like to see on TV. And I was like, okay. So I wrote it all out and he was like, yeah, I don't know how any of this could be a sitcom. And I'm like, I just did what you asked. Like, if I had a sitcom idea, I would have brought it to you by now. You think this was just you asking me about this exercise is going to pull some sitcom out of me magically? What are you, nuts?
You think that like genius original sitcoms are just like bleeding out of us? Like, these take work and these take time. It's insane, man. It's also like, no one wants to make any, people only want to make Marvel or like a story about racism. That's the only shows that get made anymore. They're like, it's either a superhero or something really fucked up that happened. Like, we either want to make you feel terrible or we want you to see Thor. Those are your only options.
I know, because they want to play it safe. They want to play it safe money-wise, which is Marvel, and then they want to play it safe cancel-wise, which is race. So, like, yeah, those are your options. And then I was like, well, I was, beat up a lot in my black neighborhood, and they're like, they got to be the victim. You're like, come on.
You're the oppressor. Here's the interesting thing. Here's the idea. They act like they're like, it's despicable. I'm like, you guys are the ones making the shit. They're like, it's crazy how long it took to get a movie like Black Panther. And we're like, you work for a studio.
Yeah.
This is how every pitch meeting goes. I'm a huge fan. We're huge fans here. I'm like, that's crazy. You own a network and you can make a show.
Right. And we like your idea.
We love
sorry.
it.
Keep going.
No. I'm with you. I love your idea, Mark.
We like the idea, but can we make the host not you? And we need more diversity. I'm looking around the room going, wow, there's a lot of white guys in suits. And then there's the one, blonde lady over there. But you need me to be diverse.
It's a bullshit game, man. I don't know if you saw it today. This woman from Teen Vogue, she was like an editor at Teen Vogue, and she stepped down because she had racist tweets about Asian people when she was 17. She's 27 now. So the thing is, here's the idea where it's like, here's why she stepped down. Was the tweets came up because it was terrible violence against 6 Asians were killed in this spa attack. But it's that thing where you're like, I hate Hollywood because of how, like, you care when it's convenient to care.
Oh, yes.
You didn't give a shit about this Asian tweets the other day. I also, obviously, some freelance tattle dug these up. These people are the most despicable human beings. And, like, no one's defending the tweets, but, like, get a fucking life.
I know. And also, you're 17. Can't you evolve? Like, what happened to progress? What happened to, I'm not the same person I was. I've been rehabilitated. I'm a different person now, but that's out.
Exactly. And she's clearly done a lot of good stuff. The other thing is, like, doesn't Anna Wintour run Vogue? Isn't she supposed to be the most horrible human being of all time? The Devil Wears Prada is her.
Yes, I mean,
and
this is
like,
my whole point.
She can keep going. She's grandmothered in, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, but she's shutting down this bad person, so she's back to being a hero. That's what we do. We attack the jokes, we attack the tweets, but we don't attack the actions. Like, Shane Gillis got in trouble for his Asian jokes, but yet SNL had never hired an Asian. So shouldn't they be at fault? I mean, isn't that worse than not? I mean, making a joke is one thing, but not actually hiring them. What would you rather hear, a black joke or a guy going, "I don't hire those people"? Isn't that the flaw? That's the crime.
Well, what's interesting to me is how it's like a one-size-fits-all condemnation system, and how I remember CNN did an article, and it was like people who have been canceled this year: Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and Shane Gillis. And you kind of want to be like, are these equal offenses?
We need degrees here, people. There's murder one, there's a homicide, there's a genocide. You can't just go all lumped.
You can think something is not good without equating it to rape. Is that maybe still okay?
Right. Yeah, now he's side by side with these psychos. The whole thing's, I think we're going to look back at this in 10 years ago. Ooh, those are some crazy times.
I think Shane would have been good for SNL, honestly.
It would have been great. He was hired by Michael Che. I mean, he would have been great. It would have been a nice mix-up. Now SNL feels like such a bubble of a certain thing, and it's like, let's have some variety. I thought it was all about diversity. Shouldn't just be diversity of skin. It should be diversity of thoughts and comedy and humor. And
it's hard to stay funny in that bubble. So props to Che, because I really do think that he's like one of the funniest people, man. That show doesn't always do it for me, but like, I mean, he is like
Che.
He is like a pure Che is like a pure stand-up. He's as funny as they come, I think.
Oh yeah, he's got a great comedy by. I feel like we've blown him before on this this pod.
I just think it's like rare to meet people, you know, like I'm happy when funny dudes succeed. I think he's so fucking funny.
Here. Yeah, he's kind of got it. He's just built for comedy. His brain works in the right ways.
And he would be the perfect guest on this show, actually, because he is like, we talked about guests. Che fucking drinks.
Oh man, does he booze? It's almost impressive that he would
put us under the table hard, I think.
Probably, yeah. He's up there. He's such a good. Him and Wolf. Wolf can booze too,
Michelle
and
drinks.
Wolf gets shit done. It's amazing.
You know what
She's
it is,
a
though?
workhorse.
It's also, you know what it is though? It's people that work that hard. That's who happy hour's for. It ain't for the fucking drunk. It ain't for the people who are just like, no, just stumble in. It's for the people that are like, it's been a hard day. That's who happy hour's for.
Right.
And that's what Michelle's like a runner. I mean, she's like all type of tough.
Yeah.
You hit the gym hard still or no?
Well, the gyms are all. I go to the rec center because I'm a cunt.
Are they open?
No, they're still not open. So sometimes I'll walk by there and I go, I can't believe I went there 2 to 3 days a week working out. Because now I look at it, I go, oh man, when that opens, I got to get back in there. And it's just daunting. I'm actually impressed. That's the thing about the pandemic is I feel like we used to be pumas and lemurs and cougars, and now we're a bunch of house cats. You know, we've been like depressed, or what do you call it? We've been demoted down to like, because you just kind of go with how the society's going, and we used to be
weak,
fucking
man.
clawing. We're weak.
My body's so weak. I was like, I play ball still outdoors. I like winter exercise, like basketball outdoors in the winter is the shit, because you're just like, it burns in your lungs. I kind of like that burn, because when you're done, you feel so good for the whole day.
You really do. And you're not cold because you're hustling out there. You got the breath showing. The sweat feels good on your face because it's chilly. Yeah, I'm with you.
Rocky, the workout scene in the winter is like the all-time coolest workout scene. There's nothing cooler than Stallone climbing the stairs and beating the meat. You're like, Stallone's his Twitter's so funny, man. I kind of love Stallone. Dude, he's just like doing motivational speeches and shit, but he's so sincere that you kind of can't help but love the guy.
I did the Tonight Show, and he was the other guest, which was it was like a dream show. It was me, Cedric the Entertainer, and Stallone.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
So I got to meet Cedric. I took a photo with him, but Stallone was like, get out of here. But he looks amazing. I mean, he's got to be, 75, 80? He looks incredible. I mean, there's a ton of work done, but he pulled it off. He's still jacked, still ripped, still tight. Amazing. Dilf.
I love him. He's had kind of a tragic life the last. Yeah. He lost his son, but man, Rocky, dude. It's just the best.
The story behind it, how he wrote it, and then they were like, we're going to shoot it, but you're not a star, so you can't be in it. He said, well, I'm not giving it to you unless I can be in it and direct it or whatever he did. Amazing.
Stallone, you're not a star. Cut to the biggest movie star for like the next 25 years. It's like, God, are they fucking dumb?
That's the Suits, man. These execs are such queefs. They don't get it. And then
They told the
this?
Sandler. They told the Sandler at SNL, you're not a camera guy. You're not an on-camera guy.
Well, here's the thing. My point is, we get rejected all the time. We get kicked around. We're the comics. We're the writer. We're the talent. But next time some guy goes, hey, Stallone, you can't be in this, and then the movie makes $1 zillion and wins Best Picture, how about we fire that guy? They don't have any repercussions for these idiots.
I want those people in the same room as the dig up tweets people. I want them all in the same room, and I want them being like, you're not good at digging up tweets. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to dig up tweets on you right now. And then they're going to cancel them, and they're going to get sent to an even further room. It's just going to keep going. But here's the thing, man. No, I hate it, man. It's great. Rocky movies are like, I even like the bad ones, dude. Dude, Creed is great.
Creed's great. I love the one with Tommy Gunn. What is that, 5? I watched all those growing up. Just they would come on cable. I would just put them on.
He's so fucking lovable, man.
Yeah.
If you don't love Stallone, you don't love America. That's how I look at it.
Yes, he's imperfect.
What's more American?
He's every man. Like he's kind of adult, but he's lovable. He's every man. He's got it all.
I bet he's a cool dude.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Hold on, I had a point there. You made a good thing with the tweet. Oh, I think eventually the guy who digs up the tweets, like, first of all, that guy should kill himself, or that gal. I mean, they're worthless. They're the scum of the earth. But I think eventually they will become the bad guy. I hope.
Are they not already?
Well, I mean, they're getting hired. They're getting work. They're getting clout for finding this shit. So I think the tables will turn where that'll be like, ugh, you're that guy? Yuck.
They're so proud to find it too. It's like finding buried treasure. It's like,
I know.
You're not a pirate, dude. You're a fucking scumbag. You're proud to ruin someone instead of being like, well, this person wrote a shitty thing and now she's accomplished a lot and she's probably become a different person and grown a little bit. You look at them and being like, aha.
Got it. Yes. Yeah, my biggest fantasy is because somebody will find a tweet on me, I'm sure, eventually. And my biggest fantasy is them going, oh, I got this guy, but this is pretty funny. That's all I want out of life. Like, ruin my life, but I just still, if you go, that's pretty good. I would have said this to my editor, but that's pretty good.
They wrote this hit piece on me in like 2013, and they were quoting my bits, and Dave Smith said my favorite thing to me. He goes, you know what? I read some of the jokes they quoted yours, and I was like, I think they hold up, dude. I was like, you know what? That's all I asked for, is that the people reading are like, the structure still works on that joke, I think. I think it holds up.
I'm not saying I'm perfect, but hey, fuck it. If you think that's funny, I did my job. What do you got on? You got any recs or peeves?
Yeah, I got both. As far as a rec goes, okay, I've been rewatching. It's probably in my top 5 favorite dramas of all time.
Don't say Sopranos.
No. Have you seen Justified?
Oh, I haven't. I like the Western theme though. I'm down for that.
It's Western, it's noir, it's Elmore Leonard wrote. So this is a double rec. So I don't know if I've mentioned this also. One of my favorite books as well, Elmore Leonard's Fire in the Hole, which is what Justified's based on. It's got a bunch of great stories in it though, man. So many great short stories in this book. There's one I love about, I've been rereading this too because it just makes me fucking happy. It's just the dialogue's so rich. I mean, if you don't know Elmore Leonard, he wrote Jackie Brown. He wrote Get Shorty, like all your favorite shit. They, Justified's one of the best written shows of all time. But like, so there's a short story in here about this like washed up baseball player, and he talks big, like he's this tough motherfucker. But then you look into his past, and he's just like he, pitched in the minors. He was a fucking scrub who made to the majors barely. But he talks like, I struck out Mattingly. I struck out this guy. And then it turns out he struck them all out in the minors when they got sent down for injuries. So he's trying to get a job as a greeter in a casino as like a celebrity. They're like, you're a fucking nobody. Who are you? So but the guy who runs the casino is kind of a tough guy. And he goes, let me tell you something. If you can strike me out, I'll hire you. I'll hire you for the job. Because he's a kind of like wants to show off that he's a tough guy. And he takes him, they go out and they play, he's throwing, and the guy knows he's washed up and he knows he's got nothing. So he just starts gunning for the guy's head, like trying to take his head off. And he keeps throwing him off the plate. And the guy's just like, Jesus, you're going to fucking kill me. And then he goes, just throw one down the middle. And he cracks them and he fucking hits it and cracks it. And he goes, I just wanted to show you I still had it. He goes, you work on Monday. Ooh. And he hires him. And his girlfriend goes, I don't get it. He hired you. You tried to take his head off. And he goes, honey, it's part of the game. It's like writing like that, which I just fucking love. Like you're just like, great. Oh, that's kind of like he just wanted to show that he was cool too. I love it. It's great.
That's great. It's so I don't know what the word is, but it's so human. It's like ego and all our insecurities coming out, and just you're talking about it. I felt like I was there. I was sucked in.
Oh, dude, it's like, I mean, what has better dialogue than all the shit I mean, it's all great dialogue. So he wrote this book, Tishomingo Blues. I think Don Cheadle bought the rights to, but he couldn't get it made. And it's an awesome book. And man, I don't know. He's just great. So if you ever seen Justified or read this, big wreck. I know it's just easy. It's like, it's a type of book where you're like, you're just going to feel good the whole time you're reading it. Justified is also just like every line is gold. It's
all right.
Walton Goggins and Timothy Oliphant are the stars.
Yeah.
And they're both just fucking A+ actors, man. Fantastic.
Man. You got to hand it to FX. They put out some good shit.
They do. Justified is like, cocky. I don't care for it. Like they write like fearless on the posters, and we're like, get over yourself, you fucking assholes.
Right. Yeah, that's a little
fearless. Much. You sat in a fucking house in the hills.
Yeah, exactly.
We're fearless.
Yeah, they're not buying our shows. That's fearless. Buy a show from a couple of nobodies.
When you're in downtown LA, you lock the doors, you fucking pussies. You're not fearless.
Yeah, good point. Well, first of all, I gotta say, I watched Honeyland and fucking loved it.
Oh,
I mean, I watched it with the lady. I'm crying my eyes out. The whole thing was amazing.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Heavy documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, great rec. I don't know if you guys listened, but last time Sam mentioned Honeyland, unreal, killer doc. I mean, just a slice of life in that woman's world. It's so crazy how she's living.
And it's a metaphor for just everything in the world. How like you can have something and motherfuckers ruin it. It's just
exactly
greed ruins all, and you can have something nice, but you won't have it for long. And it's a pretty great movie. It's pretty heavy.
Pretty heavy. Amazing that is happening in the world. Like that's what, 5 years ago or whatever. I mean, unbelievable picture. Just the fact that they captured that. And it's well shot. It's well laid out. I mean, it started off kind of slow, and I'm like, "What is this?" And then before I know it, I was hugging a pillow and biting a belt. So
dude,
good.
I love that you're into it.
Man, that's my cup. I'm gonna recommend a movie, and I feel like we should throw out a couple of comics names that are like unappreciated.
Please, I always am down for that. I love that we do that on this.
Yeah. All right. The movie is Sound of Metal.
I hear it's great.
Yeah, I heard it was good too. I was like, let me give it a shot because movies have been shit. You know, we mentioned the Marvel and the whatnots. So I said, let me give it a shot. It's so good. It's an Amazon movie too. So it was kind of like a sleeper, and now it's up for an Oscar, which is so cool. And it's this guy who's a drummer for a metal band, and he just goes deaf. And so his whole world is gone. Like, he can't drum. He can't be in this band. That's his whole life, music, and he has to deal with it, and it's a struggle, and the acting is so good. It feels like a documentary.
Damn, I got to watch. Yeah, Gary Veter was raving about it.
Really
to me.
good.
I got to watch it.
Yeah, it's heavy, though. It's a jerker. You're going to tear jerker.
It's tough, man. It's tough to...
Tear jerker. But yeah.
It's tough to get amped up to know to be like, even like I love the Lucas Brothers movie so much, the Judas and the Black Messiah, but like it's tough to get amped up for something that you know is going to be heavy. It's tough to be like in the mood. You're like, all right, time to be sad, I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
My anxiety is so bad right now that I just want to watch either like fun, snappy dialogue or silly shit.
Yes, yeah. Give me Step Brothers or The Jerk or Billy Madison. So every now and then a nice, silly, old school, something like that, or Tropic Thunder. You're like, I need a fucking McNugget. I don't feel like having hoagie right now.
Give me some peeves. I got a few too.
Okay. I got this Peeve was driving me nuts. So I did some shows and this guy was doing it. Great guy, but you ever have the guy who he's telling you about something and you're like, oh yeah, I got it, man. Totally. And then he keeps going and you're like, I don't want to keep giving you more fuel because you won't stop. Like he'd be like, oh man, the apple pie at this restaurant. I'm like, I've had it. It's amazing. He's like, it's so good, right? Incredible. Great apple pie. One of the best apple pies you've ever had. Am I wrong? No, it's a great apple pie. Yeah, it's like better than your grandma's apple pie. I got it. We've agreed. We're done. I can't keep going down this. How many times can I agree?
How far are we taking this? I mean,
Yes.
we've agreed. We love the pie. Do you want me to suck your dick? This is crazy.
I know. We're done. You're making me hate the pie now. This guy would just keep going because he was like, it was almost like a show, you know, where you're killing, so you just keep tagging.
Yeah.
It felt like he was doing that with me, but I'm like, yeah, but we're just hanging out, we're talking. Oh, it's driving me nuts.
Oh, that would drive me nuts. That's a good one. Yeah, the cocky kill when it's like, I'm just agreeing, you're not killing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I'm with you. So stop hounding me. I'm already there, and now it makes me want to not be with you.
It's a greedy pander kill.
Ooh, a GPK.
Yeah, because you're getting the nod, you're getting the enthusiasm, but you're taking it too far.
Taking it too far, yeah. So that was tough. And after a while, you were like, love the pie, and I would walk away because I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, but nice guy. He was just jizzing so much from the
pie,
the Agreeance, I guess.
Yeah, I got one too. I have a friend, one of my good friends. He'll come over. He'll pop. I have a lot of seltzer here. You know, I always like to have I have a fridge stocked with, and I do all types of seltzer. I mean, you can even see right here. Even at the desk, I have original.
Wow.
I have a special brand I support because I met the guy doing crowd work on a roof. He ran a seltzer company. And I said, you know what? I like your style. I'm gonna fucking buy your shit, and I'm gonna get packages every month from it because I like the entrepreneur vibe. And I thought his product was damn good. It's called Sound. So I was drinking it. And I get his blueberry cinnamon seltzer. It's fantastic. I get Spindrift. I'm stocked with seltzer. I'm crazy. I have a buddy who comes over all the time. He'll open a seltzer, take 2 sips, and just put it down. I'm like, oh, you did a pop and drop, man? Come on. You got to have at least half the can.
I'm with you. I hate it. I had this in college. I'd have parties at my house, and guys would come over, oh, you got a beer? And they just wanted to hold it. Now there's 1 sip taken out of a fucking IPA. So I'm sitting there at 10 a.m. cleaning up shit. I'm just chugging because I don't want to waste it.
That bugs me. And because the carbonation's, it's gone. You killed the carbonation. So that's one.
Completely.
The other one is I have a friend who this drives me nuts.
Oh yeah.
He'll text me, it's an on the spot hang, always like, let's get dinner tonight. And I'm like, oh, I can't tonight. And he'll just write back, ouch.
That's crazy. That guy's a psychopath.
He does it all the time. Like it's like it's his response to everything. Ouch.
Yeah. And it cuts deep because you don't want to hurt anybody, but you're also like, hey, how about we schedule something, you wacko?
We didn't have plans.
Yeah. You think I'm just wide open? My lady does that. She'll be like, I got meetings all day. And I'm like, okay, do what you got to do. I won't see her the whole day. She's on the phone. She's making sales. And then I'm like, oh, I'm jumping in the shower. She's like, oh, geez. I'm like, you've been on the phone all day. How come when I have a thing, you're pissed? And then when you can be on the phone.
It drives me nuts. It's also the type of guy who's like, meet me at my place, like meet me at a restaurant 2 blocks from my place. And I'm just like, why don't we just meet at like a neutral location somewhere? And you're just like, ouch. Like, why is everything ouch? Why is everything hurting you?
Right. Yeah. Toughen up. But back to the seltzer thing with the 1 sip out of it, the pop and drop. You wouldn't do that with food. If you were like, hey, you got any food? You wouldn't take a taco, take 1 bite and put it down. It's something with liquids.
That's true. Although it depends on the food. He will do it. Like I have trail mix out all the time, and he'll take scoops. And that to me, I'm like, that's perfect. That's there for
fine.
Scoops. Take whatever food you want here. I'm totally like, I have more groceries in my apartment than I've ever had just because of the pandemic. Just because
Right.
I'm here more. I'm not
Yeah.
used to being home this often. So I got chips, I got trail mix, I got string cheese, I got all kinds of good stuff here.
Ooh, see, how do you? I would just eat all of it in one sitting.
I eat it all. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, that's why I don't
It's
do
not
the chopping.
what. So you just eat out every meal?
I do oatmeal for breakfast. I keep a bunch of bananas, a couple of oranges, and I buy a rotisserie chicken and a bunch of trail mix as well. And I just live off of that for the week. But I for dinner I eat out pretty much every night. Yeah.
You have no willpower with when you have the
No.
snacks. Me
No, no,
neither.
no.
But that's the other thing. I'll get drunk and I'm just like
Oh.
stuffing my face with snacks and treats. And but I also am like, I mean, like we could have worse vices. I
That's
just think.
true.
I mean, I also think like, whatever.
I made
I'm
a douchey rule with no food after 11. That was like my pandemic rule because I was just eating,
dude.
like snacking at midnight, watching TV in my underwear. So I had to make that rule.
Yeah, but you're fine, man. I mean, I think you gotta treat yourself because anxiety, like you gotta have something. You can't have nothing.
You got to have something.
Gotta have
and
something.
a scoop of trail mix is not the worst thing in the world for you.
No.
Be a lot
That's
worse.
right. Do you have any other pet peeves?
No, that was my big one. Oh, how about this? This is a pet peeve. This is something I think this might be a lady thing. So we'll be watching a movie and then she'll be talking to me during the movie. And I'm like, okay, so should I listen to the movie or should I listen to you? Like, we got to pick which one we're doing now. Not trying to be a dick, but then she'll talk to me throughout the movie. And if I pause it, she gets annoyed. Like, oh, sorry. Oh, and I'm like, well, I'd like to hear the movie, but I also want to hear you. Didn't mean to offend
That's crazy.
you. So I don't pause it. And then she'll talk to me and then go, what'd he say? Like, what do you mean, what'd he say? You talked to me the whole time. How do I know what he said?
This is on a movie you've never seen before. She's doing this?
Yes.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. She'll go at me and then she'll be like, what'd he say? I'm like, I don't know. I was listening to you. Isn't that a compliment? I don't know what he said either because you were talking.
See, this is why you rewatch shows as a couple, so you can do the talking. Because some people, like, I'll rewatch a Simpsons or a South Park or like Succession's great for this because you're like, we'll just talk because we've seen this before. But when you're doing a first time, you think I want to just talk? I missed an important piece of dialogue that was plot centric.
I know, exactly. It might be she's a younger gal. She's 11 years old, so maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know.
Children are the worst. Yeah.
yeah. Because
is this too dark a joke? Let me run this bit by you. Tell me if this is too dark. About how you, like when you regret when you hook up with someone immediately. I wonder if pedophiles do that. Do you think pedophiles, like after they fuck someone, they're just like, oh my God, are you still here? Jesus Christ.
That's interesting. I mean, that's a funny idea, and I'm actually intrigued. That's a great bit. I don't know if it's too, I might be the wrong guy to ask, but I think that's great.
Yeah, you are. I appreciate it. But I think it's gonna bomb. What? Give me no more pet peeves.
No, those are my two big ones. The
I agree with that one big time.
And then the talking during the movie, then asking what they said.
I hate a movie talk. I mean, I'm okay with it if here's the thing. Once you've paused the movie, you've done the right thing. Like she can't be offended by the pause. You're saying, I don't want to miss the movie, but I'd like to hear what you're trying to say. This is the most polite thing you can do.
Exactly. I mean, I will say she does have a skill of like, she'll be scrolling on her phone while the movie is on. And then I'll be like, oh, wait, who's that guy? And she's like, oh, that's the guy from the work guy. And I'm like, oh, how do you know more than me? I've been watching it while you're TikToking.
Yeah, you know what it is? Young people, man. I feel like they also are just like, they're just looking up shit about the movie too sometimes, aren't they? I feel like that's a young person thing.
That's true too.
I do that sometimes too. If I'm just like, sometimes I'll be watching a movie, I'll be like, I wonder if this actor is still alive or something. You know what I mean? You ever just do that?
Definitely.
You know, I was watching the other day that I hadn't seen since I was a little kid. That's just such a classic. Is Vertigo, Hitchcock.
Oh yeah, classic.
Dude, it's so good.
I mean, without Hitchcock, you wouldn't have all the tropes and all the movie moves that he did. Genius. I mean, he invented a lot of shit.
Hitchcock fucking rules.
So good. So good. Big fan. You got a bit?
Yeah, let me see what I got. This might be stupid. Tell me if this is too stupid. I think it's kind of fun. Hit last
right.
night, bomb tonight. So people, when they have a stroke, they smell they smell burnt toast before they have a stroke.
Yes.
So it's like that's annoying because that sucks, but it doesn't suck nearly as bad as a stroke. You know what I mean? It's like it's annoying, but it's not. It's like that doesn't happen with any other horrible thing like that. It's never like who farted, then you're like fuck AIDS. Oh man,
That's great.
is it a hey Brooklyn? If you're listening, you're at my show tonight. You should have fucking laughed. I got so many jokes like that.
That's great. I mean, you got a fart
zero.
and AIDS. I mean, that's a
Zero.
bit.
So silly and dumb. It got 0. Yeah, I almost dropped it.
Wow.
What do you got?
Wow. No, don't drop that. That's something.
All right.
I like
okay,
that. I got some real weak ideas. So my wallet got stolen.
Just recently?
Yeah, like 2 days ago. It was a nightmare. So I'm trying to get some material out of it. First of all, I thought, wouldn't it be nice if the guy who stole the wallet, the punishment if we catch the guy should be him having to go to the DMV and getting my license back? Like, you got to do that shit, because that's the worst part. It's not the money. It's not that. It's the actual handling of all the chores now that I have to do. So you
have
got
like
to
a
go to
full
the
wallet?
DMV. Took the whole thing. Yeah.
I do this shit. I do like I have it on the back of my phone.
Yeah. That's not bad. But then
because I can't keep my eyes off my phone anyway. I may as well put it all in one place,
It's true, but if you lose the phone, you're really fucked.
True, but if I lose the phone, I'm fucked anyway.
Yeah, I guess so. So that's the other angle.
I like the DMV angle about like he's got to do the bad shit. So did he steal it? You can get mugged. You dropped it somewhere?
I had my wallet in my friend's car, window broken, right off Second Avenue, broke the window, I had my jeans in the car, and he just took the jeans and had the wallet in it.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, old school, man. New York's getting wild. This is the East Village, 11th Street.
Broke the window of his fucking car.
I know.
Sucks.
It was crazy. Like, just seeing the glass shattered, you're like, oh, that's crazy. Then you see the jeans gone, and you're like, well, there goes the wallet. But so then I thought another funny thing could be, you take the wallet. It'd be cool if when you stole my wallet, you had my problems too. Like you got my financial burden, you got my college debt, you got my whatever it is, you got my Blockbuster fees. I don't know if there's anything there.
I like the DMV thing a lot. I think the thing about like the DMV is you're like, and what are you here for? He just holds up a picture of you and they like take a picture of it. The new driver's license photo.
Right.
Did they catch him?
No, we called the cops. They're like, yeah, what some guy's got your wallet in a crack house. Who knows what the fuck,
The only problem with the identity, I've heard the identity, it's different bit, but it's like kind of close where it's like they took my identity, but then you're like, we have my fucking identity though, really, So that's the only problem. I think the DMV angle is the angle to pursue.
Okay.
About like they broke a fucking window.
I know.
There might be something there about how they broke, like in a weird way. You're like, it's not like, it's a weird thing where you're like, man, you fuck. Whose car was it? Was it comic?
No, it was this. I was shooting a thing with this guy, and he was a nice guy. I met him that day, but he had this nice Mercedes, and so I was wearing a costume for the shoot, and so I guess they saw the Mercedes, and I put my jeans in the car, and he got it.
Dude, you almost should be mad at him for not parking lotting a Mercedes in the current East Village. That's almost like blood on his hands for that shit.
Right. Yeah. So then the other angle is you lose your wallet. It sucks, but losing your phone is worse because there's a wallet on the phone. You can use your phone to pay for things and use your facial recognition, but you can't use your wallet to make a phone call. So the phone is almost one.
Yeah, you can't call an Uber with your wallet.
Can't do it.
You're trapped.
Right.
Yeah, without the wallet, you can survive. Without the phone, even with the phone, they'd be like, you don't have any ID. I do have ID. Google Mark Normand.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they say cash is king, but the phone is king.
The phone is king, man. The wallet doesn't like. I mean, you can kind of just survive without a wallet. You got Seamless, you got Uber, you got Apple Pay. You kind of don't
Yeah.
need like at a
You don't
certain
need
point,
it.
you're like, maybe this dude pushed me into the future.
That's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the wallet doesn't like ever like have cash on you, and you're like, what is this fucking 1994? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the cash is almost for like only for me to like tip people with at this point.
I know. It doesn't feel like cash is king anymore. It's so true. I mean, it's like, look, you don't even have a wallet. So what does that tell you? Your wallet is all your shit's connected to your phone.
I do this just to like have some cash on me. I'll do like a little money clip like that just in my pocket.
Ah,
But I have all my things on my phone because I'm just like, why would I? I mean, did you have your phone on you when you got robbed?
no, I had the phone on me. Thank God.
That's what I'm
So I have
saying.
that.
If your phone was your wallet,
Exactly. I'd be screwed. So it's an idea. I'm trying to get something out of a
there's
bad
something
situation.
there. Yeah, about breaking into the car too.
All right. Well, what about let me try this on you, and then I'll let you
Yeah.
go because that's like a topical of this just happened to me thing. But this is an idea I had, and tell me if it's been done. It's weird that when I was a kid, I wanted a pet. I wanted a dog. And my mom was like, it's a big responsibility. You got to feed it. You got to clean up after it. I don't know if it's a good idea. And she like talked me out of getting a dog. But if I told my mom, hey, I'm ready to have kids, she'd be like, go for it. I'm like, isn't that
Interesting.
weird? The kids are way bigger responsibility. And the dog, she'll end up taking care of anyway. And the kids probably too.
It's very relatable. Yeah. It's
Has that been done?
I haven't heard it like that. No, it's
Okay.
interesting. It's like my mom would do the exact same thing. You know why? Because dog still feels like you're delaying adulthood in some way to them.
Ah,
But kid is like, we're doing it. That I think that's how they see it. And that maybe
right.
there's a way to spin that where you're like, a kid. I always wanted to, you know what it is? Because you know what this is what might be. The whole time you're a teenager, you're like, Mom, can I have a dog? She's like, no. Mom, can I have a dog? But if you were pestering her, Mom, can I have a kid? She'd be like, what?
Right.
Maybe there's some angle to play like that. Like having a dog is like a kid thing almost.
Well, how about this? When you ask for a dog, your mom has to get the dog. But when you're like, I'm having a kid, she's like, that's on you and your girlfriend. Like you guys, because you're not fucking your mom. So she's not even involved. With the dog, she's involved.
You can get a dog walker when you go out of town. When you get a kid, you got to ask for your mom. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Because I think it's almost like, hey, it's sexual with you. Yeah, you figure it out. Go nuts. But with the dog, it's like, oh, I'm involved in this.
It's weird because the dog thing, I guess it's that it just feels more serious. We're starting a family. Like no one takes it seriously. Like we're getting a dog. We're starting a family.
Yeah.
You're having a baby. You're like, we're starting a family. It's a big deal. And she probably looks at it like, because you told her you got a cat. Did she say anything to that?
No, she didn't care. She didn't care about the cat. But
No one
when I
gives
was
a
a
shit.
kid, I wanted a dog. And she was like, I don't know. That's a big responsibility. I'm like, but if I had a kid, you'd be all for it. Like, that's a way bigger. A dog, you leave for the weekend. You leave a pile of food and you're good.
Although if you have a kid when you're a teenager, your mom's like, shit, should have gotten him that dog.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. I'm taking care of either one anyway.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's something
I like
there.
this angle. The mom wants
Wants to be a
wants the
grandma,
baby.
but she
She
doesn't
wants to
want to
be-
be a pet owner.
Yeah, well, she's got a story to tell with the baby. There's no story. My son got a fucking dog. Who gives a shit?
Right. Yeah.
Here's a picture of your son's dog. I care why. This is my
Yes.
grandson. There's no name for the son's dog.
Yes.
I'm a
exactly.
grandma. That's the name.
Right.
You got a new title.
It's almost like saying I'm gonna get a bike versus I'm gonna get a car. You know, your mom's like, all right, who cares? You're getting a bike? All right, whatever.
Yeah,
You
there's
know, good
City
luck.
Bike. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. But you get a car, like, hey, you got a car. You're right. You're jumping all in. It's a bigger deal. You're gonna be a father compared to like, hey, you gonna have a fucking dog around.
You give the dog to a friend because you couldn't handle it, you're not getting that much judgment. You give that baby up. I mean, that's the difference in commitment right there. You give the baby to your friend, your mom's like, you just gave away the baby. You're like, yeah, we wanted to go on vacation.
Yeah, yes. Cut to me outside of a Walmart with a baby in a cardboard box. All right. That
There's
helps.
something there.
I'll
There's
try it this
something
weekend.
there. Please do. Comedy at Broadway, they're great. I'll be there in August. I love Kentucky.
Ooh, yeah,
It's a great
dude.
state.
I love it too. I love this hotel. I love it's right by the club. I love that shit.
I'm looking forward. Yeah, I love the road. I can't wait to get back to it, man.
The road, just getting that green room. You order the shitty salmon. You got a cocktail. I mean, it's the little things, baby. Just feels so good.
I can't wait. Well, make sure to email us at we might be drunk pod at gmail.com with your pet peeves, your recs, your jokes, everything you got. We'll read them on the Patreon. So subscribe to patreon.com/ we might be drunk pod, or it might be, we might be drunk pod. That's right.
Yeah, that's the email.
Yeah, and just I'm having a great time with this, man. Keep listening to this. Keep telling your friends.
Yes,
and
share it, quote it. We got clips on
too.
Instagram. We're on Instagram with our own page. Follow that, and tell a friend. Spread the love. Spread the cheeks, and tell us about some cocktails you like, because I've already learned about a few.
We might be drunk on Instagram, and follow Mark and myself, obviously, and see us on the road. I actually doing my last virtual show on Monday, so you get tickets to that. It's on Zoom. So if you live in Melbourne or some shit where you won't see me for a while, buy a ticket. It's fun. I'm working on new shit. samuel.com/shows. And I got Connecticut coming up, Atlantic City, all on my website, Arlington, and much more coming soon. But Mark, what do you got, man?
I'm all over the road as well. MarkNormanComedy.com. Check it out. All kinds of fun dates. Columbus Funny Bone coming up. What else? Oh boy. Wise Guys in Utah, Tacoma Comedy Club, Magoobies, you name it. Hartford Funny Bone, that'll be tough. Spokane Comedy
That's
Club,
a tough one.
Funny Bone in Virginia Beach. Never been there. You ever done that one?
I haven't done Virginia Beach Funny Bone, no.
Portland Helium, all kinds of fun stuff. Funny Bone Syracuse. Hey. Please come out to that. I need
You're
you.
a fucking warrior.
Oof.
I walked a lot of people in that room.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's in a mall. It's next to a Toby Keith. It's in Syracuse. How many bad things can I say? But yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, thanks, man. Good drinking. Enjoy that martini.
I killed it. I killed a couple of them. I had the shaker right here. I'm fucking.
Oh, I love the
I'm
shaker.
I got a little shaker going.
You bring a girl over and do that. She's like, all right, I'm in good hands.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Nothing better.
Well, dude, it's great to see it. And I mean, it's like tough. I can't wait to do this in the studio. We should do this in a bar.
Yes, we got to do it in a bar. Fat Black, whatever it is.
We'll talk to Liz.
Yeah, that's a game changer. We'll go from here to here.
Oh my God. You think that'll give us a bump?
Oh yeah, big bump, and I think we'll be better face to face. You know, there's pheromones and energy and connections.
I miss your smell, dog. Yeah, for sure. All right. Sweet. I'm loving this, so I hope you guys listening are liking it too.
Yes, and keep sending those jokes. They're fun.
All right.
Take it easy.